I imagine you've been watching gold prices. We hit $3,002 an ounce today, last I checked. And are we on the way to 4,000? Yes, and if you saw my last video, you know that I believe we're going to get to 4,000 within 1 year. We'll say from 1 year from today's date. And if I'm wrong, you can call me out and tell me I was wrong. But I believe, for a lot of specific reasons, and I'll talk about a few of them in this video, I believe that gold is just going to be going to 4,000 a lot faster than it went from 2,000 to 3,000. When it went from 1,000 to 2,000, that took 10 years and 4 months. That was what that last video was about, or the one before that. And then to go from 2,000 to 3,000, it only took about a year and 4 months or so. You can see how the doubling time, it's not doubling, but you can see how the $1,000 gain time is getting shorter and shorter. And I believe that will be enhanced as the prices are higher. It will be less difficult for it to go up 1,000 when the prices are higher. To go from 1,000 to 2,000 was a lot harder than to go from 4,000 to 5,000, is my point. But I'm saying that from today's date, and please give me heck if I'm wrong, I believe for a lot of reasons that gold is going to go to 4,000 within 1 year, 365 days, we'll say from today's date, so that you know when to call me out and when I'm wrong. I'm always early. I'm probably going to be early and wrong again in that sense, but this is what I believe. $4,000 gold is on the horizon, and no, it's not too late because of, it's insane that gold mining stocks haven't actually already performed even better than they have. But nobody's looking at gold mining stocks. All the smart money, all the central banks around the world are just gobbling up gold. People in China are gobbling up gold. Brazil, India, everybody's buying gold except for pretty much, until lately, America. We went in November from being a gold net seller or exporter to a gold importer. We actually started bringing gold back into the country. And for 15 years, central banks have been net buyers every quarter, every month, every year, and it only accelerated a lot recently. That's why gold prices moved so quickly from 2,000 to 3,000. Think about that. It went up 50% in price in just a little over a year. This is the trade to be in. I've not changed my tune since I've been talking about it in the first place a long time ago. You want to be involved, and I want to say congratulations if you're a subscriber to the Peter Leeds newsletter, because you're probably doing pretty well. A lot of these gold mining stocks have woken up now. Even the silver miners. Here's a chart of silver mines. Look at how well it performed in the very recent past, the last few weeks. I even had a video for you guys about how gold and gold mining stocks performed during depression, recession, chaos, market downturns, and inflationary and even deflationary periods. And it's pretty much where you want to be anytime there's commotion in the world. When there's chaos, one of the things is military chaos, and we just entered into a new phase fighting against the Houthi rebels in Yemen, which is a proxy, one of the 7 proxies of Iran, and we're bombing them because they keep disrupting shipping, saying they're doing that in solidarity with the people in Gaza. And wherever you stand on all of these issues, wherever you land, what's happening is that American forces are attacking the Houthi rebels and their infrastructure in Yemen, while they then attack back to show that they're still fighting, but there's not really much they can do against the military might and power of America. But just that plus every other military conflict that's going on all around the world right now. There's a bunch of wars going on right now that you don't even hear about because they're secondary, where people are all looking at Gaza and they're all looking at Russia, Ukraine. But you're not looking at what's going on in Africa, South America, Asia. The South China Sea right now is a powder keg. There's a lot of different interests in that one spot in the world, and a lot of potential enemies sort of bumping into each other. That's one you're going to want to watch too, especially Taiwan. When I come out with a video talking about $5,000 gold or $10,000 gold, people will say, oh, that's just FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. You want to scare people into, what, buying your book? Listen to this. I'm doing it differently now. Just like when I put out $3,000 gold, that was before it was at 3,000. I just did it because I knew it was going to get there. I didn't expect it to be, well, I did actually. After I put out that video, it was just a matter of a couple of days till at 3,000. And now I'm just going to be ahead of that. I'm going to say, don't worry about $5,000 gold. Don't worry about $10,000 gold. I'm saying we're going to 4,000. And that's a little bit more digestible, a little bit more immediate. And all the reasons are the same. Even with the government shutdown that we're so sadly going to be going through again and not fixing the problem, that we just always do this and do this, that's actually good for stability, any kind of safe asset when there's a lot of conflict. There's all this confusion, uncertainty about the tariff wars and the tariff moving pieces. Uncertainty is really bad for stocks. It's pretty good for gold. Most things are pretty good for gold if you ever want to have stability, wealth preservation. And as you can see now, which most people didn't even realize, you can make a lot of money with gold. It's a big barbaric relic that's been around forever, but it still moves pretty quickly. And the mining stocks should have moved even quicker based on the price of gold, but they will get there. And so will silver, especially with this massive silver squeeze, which is getting closer and closer and closer every day. It's going to be monumental. A lot of my focus in the newsletter has always been about the best opportunities, and a lot of them happen to be in the precious metal space lately. That's what it is right now. That's not forever. I used to do a lot more technology stocks, a lot more retail companies, all sorts of other things. But right now, the trade is precious metals, especially as we're dealing with the deterioration of the purchasing power of the US dollar, the absolute fragmentation of it by just printing more and more billions of dollars, and how we're in economic crazy town that no one wants to admit to, such as the $1 trillion coin, which is worth about $4,000 in terms of how much platinum they put into it. Or we pretend that the debt ceiling debate, or alternatively the government shutdown, two different things, but you pretend that they're so meaningful and that they're fixing a problem, that there's almost a crisis, but they fixed it. I have my own opinions about all of this. I've told you in other videos. I'm just going to move on. But the big one is inflation expectations right now are just ramping up. And you look at inflation expectations, and that isn't what inflation is going to be. It's what people believe it's going to be. And if they believe it's going to be higher, then that will actually be more likely to make it be higher. But regardless, I'm saying the inflation expectations that are high right now are accurate. Inflation is not gone. It was just taking a breather. It'll be back in a massive, massive way. A lot of things that are going on right now are going to require more creation of money. It will be absolutely necessary to create more money to avoid defaults, to avoid bankruptcy, which is one way that this entire economic experiment could go. We are in the first time where we're in a big fiat currency experiment. Every nation has a currency, not money, but a currency, so that their dollar, or whatever currency they use, it's not backed by anything. It's just an idea that everybody agrees upon. And they compare different fiat currencies to each other and they say, oh, that one's getting stronger, that one's getting weaker. Yeah, but it's all just things floating around in the smoke. Gold the whole time just sat there on the sidelines, kept quiet, and watched. The strongest person in the room is very often the quietest, and the weakest is very often the loudest. Gold is the quietest. It's just sitting there and enjoying the show, which is what you should be doing as an investor. And don't be worried about, oh man, all these stocks are crashing, they're all coming down. And as I told you, during this bear market, you got a big, massive bull market rallies. And that's what we saw the other day where the markets went crazy higher. But that was just a bit of a recovery from how far they've come down. Is there further downside? Yes, there is. Are we going to have massive 1 day or 2 day gains? Yes, of course. That's part of the path lower. You're actually more likely to have a worse market if you have these big 600-point gains in a single day. That is what it looks like when markets are bleeding off. And I'll tell you again, which I told you recently, people were in the great 1929 stock market crash for months before they realized the crash had begun. That's the same thing that's going to happen now, because you just wait a while and you look back and you say, okay, yeah, it started then and it was from November or from early 2025. And then from there, we came down 80%, 60%, whatever. Again, I'm going to say to you, it doesn't matter. Just get out of the way of the crashing train. Get invested in actual money, which is precious metals. And if you get interested in miners, which is the number one thing you should be doing, make sure that the ones that are not going to be financially broken, or they're running out of reserves, or they're not in a safe environment, or not running things properly, or they keep having accidents at the mine. You want to get the right kinds of stocks in the right kinds of investments. Right now, the number one right investment is precious metals mining stocks, silver and gold. And you want to get the ones that are not going to go out of business, which are the ones that are Peter Leeds approved, that I've scanned through myself. I've looked under the hood of all of these, and I told you which ones I feel are the best if you're a newsletter subscriber. And I've got a couple of financial headlines that just came out that I'm going to take this moment to ask you something I always ask you earlier, is to subscribe to the channel, to click like. It really helps us share our message with more people like us. And I was thinking about this. We need to let people know. You know that everybody is not paying attention to stuff. And I'm not trying to sell books. That's what people are saying, or my newsletter, whatever. It'll actually have an impact. You're going to be helping more people learn this message if you click like, because then the algorithm feeds it out to more people. So it's up to you. I feel like I've done a lot on my end to try and promote this channel and promote this message. But I'm really asking you to also help us spread our message to help more people. Now here's some financial headlines that just came out recently. Forever 21 is declaring bankruptcy. I guess all the 21-year-olds actually grew up. Retail sales increased 0.2% in February, although spending was up less than expected. Just more little slices or snapshots of what's going on with this economy. We're going from being the most powerful nation in the world to not being. And it always is a long process, and a lot of commotion happens, and a lot of military things happen. This is talking not just about America. I'm talking about the Roman Empire. I'm talking about Spain. I'm talking about the United Kingdom. It's China's turn, and it's not a question of derailing that or stopping it. There's no stopping it. They're already ahead of us. We're burning down our Tesla cars all over the place. They're producing cheaper, better electric vehicles en masse. And they're going to definitely be owning the next 50 years. And at the same time, we're losing the reserve currency status because there's a better alternative, and I said better, is the BRICS nations' currency. When they start using it, retail level, it's backed partially by gold. That means it's partially backed by money, which means it has value, it has worth. Whereas over here we're saying, let's make coin out of platinum, and we'll say it's worth $1 trillion, and we'll put that on our balance sheet. That's a train wreck waiting to happen. You want to protect yourself, you want to help the people you care about, and you don't want to be all stressed out about it and watching your 401k bleeding out or your investments bleeding out. If you're owning Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you don't want to be sitting there just watching them. You got to make another move. A lot of people went into just cryptocurrencies, and now they're like, oh, wait a minute, it's not doing what I thought it was going to do. This whole time, you had the opportunity to get involved in real investing that's going to have something grow for you, and that's sort of what I'm trying to help more people understand. And this is where you come in. When you click like on the video, you engage, you make a comment, all of that sets off the YouTube algorithm so that it just says, hey, this other person might like this video too. If they don't like it, they can hang up. But I do think that it would be cool to help as many people as we can, because this is an unprecedented, once-in-a-lifetime, complete transition in almost every economic way, and no one's realizing it yet because we've had the reserve currency for so long. You forget that you don't always get to have that. You don't get to always just be printing new money out of nothing and just buying stuff from all over the world. But gold's at 3,000, it's going to 4,000, and I say again, within 1 year. That's the Peter Leeds statement, the Peter Leeds opinion. And maybe I'm wrong, but if it does do that, if I'm right again, as I've been right about gold since before you were born for some of you. I don't think that's true, but anyways. I believe that gold is just getting started. I've told you that many times. And when gold prices drop $200 an ounce, don't even worry about it. And now finally we're seeing signs of all of these gold mining stocks. Like we've already had a bunch, like Kinross Gold, I made triple on that one in a very short window of time. A lot of the stocks that we are talking about in the newsletter are doing very well at a time when the markets are coming down. It's a different feeling when everybody else is looking at red all across the screen and talking about that they didn't expect it or what's going on or they're not understanding what's wrong with the markets. Meanwhile, your gold mining stocks and your gold is just creeping up, creeping up, creeping up. That's a stress-free, pretty simple way to invest, in my opinion. And so I'm just trying to help more people land on their feet and help their people, which is what you and I need to be doing. Please help share this channel with people at very least, if you enjoy the video at all.